guys. Yeah, I'm not going to take a more of your time this morning. I'm going to give you over to Andre, and yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all very well and ready to learn something. I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. It's usually a very fun session for those that have been on before. Okay, let's get going. So, firstly, why do we do this training? Many people ask this. Well, firstly, we have a very large team within EXP ourselves, more than 230 agents. So I'm always trying to find ways where I sort of investigate what technology can help agents do better in their businesses. And then whatever I can do, I just try to help our agents. But so we just decided to do it in a broader sense as well, helping other people as well. Somebody's mic is not muted, please. Just because we believe what goes around comes around, and we've always been in a very collaborative market where we are in Durbanville, where everybody sort of helps each other. So yes, and as Lydia said, I enjoy my tech and I enjoy helping others with it. I'm not Mr. AI, I'm not Mr. Presenter, I'm also just an agent with Lydia, but I just enjoy these things. Okay, one thing you got to understand, please, today is we've got a very, very mixed audience, very mixed skill level. So this is actually aimed at taking anybody who's never used ChatGPT and teaching them how to use it. And then we'll be looking at quite a few more of the more advanced functionalities in ChatGPT a little bit later on. But you would all have filled out the registration form where you say whether you use ChatGPT or not, and still the majority of people have not used it, and most of the others use it for very basic tasks. Obviously, there'll be a couple of people who are more advanced and maybe even more advanced than me. But as I said, okay, we'll start simple, and we'll move to much more advanced features which most people don't know actually even exist in ChatGPT. What you do need to know is you do not need to be techie to win with artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. So what we're hoping you walk away with today, especially if you're new, is that we demystify ChatGPT so that you know it's not some weird thing that you can't use. You definitely can use it. And after today, you will be using it and you'll be able to use it with confidence. What I also need you to understand is that it's so easy because it's like chatting with a friend. It's like just chatting to your smartest friend you've ever known that can answer all your questions. Okay, but as I said, also later on, we're going to go and look, we'll be looking from basic uses right through to how you can brainstorm ideas, and you can even have debates with ChatGPT, and then many more advanced uses, especially when it comes to images and videos and things like that. Okay, questions will be welcome after the presentation. I always ask, please don't try and ask questions during the presentation, because then sometimes we get sidetracked. There is a lot we have to cover, so rather that we don't get sidetracked, we rather get through the whole presentation, and then I'm available, more than available, to answer any questions you might have. But I always start out by saying, because we're talking about tech, we're talking about technology, we're talking about artificial intelligence. And as I always say, that the main thing is these things are not going to replace us. The heart of real estate is always going to be people and relationships. No matter how you look at it, that is always the backbone. But the other thing is the backbone of real estate, sorry, I was looking at that, is technology and systems. So the heart, people, relationships, it's a people's business. It stays that. It remains that. But the backbone is technology and systems. And coupled with our strong relationships, we can use technology to multiply our business and to scale our businesses to the next level. Okay, so real estate is a very multifaceted business. We all know that. There's so many things we have to be able to do to be successful. But I've just put three of the pillars for success here that I always think are very, very important. The first pillar for success is personal relationships. Again, we come back to that. You've got to always have good personal relationships with as many people as you can that will eventually trust you. And those personal relationships are the relationships we are most trustworthy. But you've still got to keep on generating leads, because if you're not generating leads, you're not going to have business tomorrow, right? I mean, I know there's a lot of ways we can generate leads. We're not going to go into that today. I mean, whether you're doing cold calling or whether you're door knocking or whether you've got lead funnels on the internet or whether you're just out on social media advertising yourself. I mean, even your Property 24 inquiries, those are leads, because even if they don't buy the house from you now, if you keep on nurturing that lead, they will maybe sell in 3 years' time. And if you're top of mind, you will be the one that they will use. Okay, so then the third pillar is then lead nurturing, which I've already slightly mentioned. Problem is, so once you've got a lead, it doesn't help you get a lead today. He's going to sell in 3 years' time, maybe, but he doesn't know you exist anymore. He doesn't even think of you. So you've got to keep nurturing your leads so that you're in constant contact in some way or another, so that you remain top of mind when it comes to property. So it's very important to time block. You've got to time block every day. This webinar is not about that, but we have to time block for our lead generation, firstly, to get new leads, and then for lead nurturing, to make sure that we stay top of mind with our existing leads. Okay, now how do we do that? So how do you stay top of mind? How do you nurture these leads? Firstly, people that you know personally, that's quite easy, right? You're in constant contact with them anyway. You're either on the phone every now and then, or you're sending WhatsApps to them, personal WhatsApps, or you're having coffee with them, or whatever. Maybe you see them next to the sports field if your child plays sport every now and then. So that's sort of nurturing that personal relationship all the time. But all these other types of leads that you don't have a constant contact with, it's not really a personal relationship. Just think of all the emails you collect from Property 24 over the years. Those have to go in somewhere into a database and have to be nurtured. So how do we stay top of mind for people like that with whom we don't necessarily have personal contact? The main thing is you have to go and meet them wherever they are. So wherever they are, you've got to be visible somehow or another. And how do we do that? I mean, where are people spending their time? We all know they're spending the majority of their time online somewhere. People differ, but it's either social media or on their email or on their WhatsApps or whatever. So that's where they are spending their time. So we've got to try and sort of meet them there and stay top of mind. So the way we do that is with what I call content marketing. So that's creating content that you can put out on the digital platforms, whether it's social media, whether it's email newsletters, whether it's your WhatsApp status, or even just WhatsApp messages now and again. So some sort of content that you can put out that adds value to people's lives, that makes them remember you. And so that when they're ready to transact in property, whether it's buying or selling, you're going to be the person they think of. So this type of content can take on many forms. A few examples here would be, I mean, you can put out content, let's just call it social media, but whatever it is, newsletters and so forth, about local news and events in your area. So that's one way of sort of keeping contact with people, informing them of what's going to be happening in the area in the next month or whatever. Property showcasing is your properties. Don't forget that. I mean, on your social media, on your WhatsApp status, wherever you are, when you've got a listing for sale, they have to go on those platforms as well, because people must also realize that you are really in business. I mean, that just makes you look good, that you do actually market houses. And then, of course, when you sold a property, brag about it. There's nothing wrong with it. I know people say you mustn't, just all you see about the person is sold, and nothing else. But that's why we're talking today about a mixture of content. But you need to put those solds out there as well, because again, it reminds them that you are actually a successful agent. You're not just informing them of local news and events, etc. Educational tips. I think there's a different form of content you can put out there, educating people about almost anything. Obviously, when you talk about the sales process and property, there's a lot of topics that come to mind, but other things, gardening, recipes, whatever. And then personal posts. I'm a firm believer. There are different schools of thought on this, and people differ. So some people say their personal life is personal, so they'll only use a business, let's say Facebook profile for business. I disagree. I believe you should mix in personal posts and use your personal profiles, because we're in the people's business. That's my belief. So the more relationships we've got, that's what we do, right? We need people to know us for who we are as well. So a bit of personal, family life, whatever you're doing, hobbies, skydiving on the weekend, mountaineering, whatever, pottery, put those things in there. Put parts of your daily life in, so people get to know you as a person as well. Now, when you're putting out enough content, and these are just a few examples, the point is people will do business with people that they know and like and trust. And the more they see of you over time, and a sort of a mixture of content from personal through to business, through to just good information that people need of anything, they are going to start knowing and liking and trust you. So good content builds those three and will will help that whenever they are ready to transact in property, you will be the one that they think of. Now, the problem with this is our biggest challenge with content marketing through all the years is, yes, we get told we've got to put content out on Facebook and everywhere. We must send out newsletters. We must do all sorts of things. Our biggest challenge, however, is firstly the limited ideas. So what type of content should we put out there? And, you know, we sort of get a block in that, but then you also get a creative block. So even if you get this wonderful idea, I'm going to create content about this, then creative block. Right now, how do I put this all together? And then, of course, actually, the age-old thing is we've never got enough time. Agents are very busy. We are very busy. There's so much you've got to do from morning to night till who knows what. Then you've still probably got children to take care of. So we've never got enough time. But now, luckily, in our day and age, there is a solution that can solve all this for us if we just make use of it. And that is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence has come to the fore recently in the last 2-3 years. It's existed for a long time, but it's mainly been used on us. But in the last 2-3 years, especially since ChatGPT came out, we actually get to use it for ourselves as well. And that allows us to work smarter instead of working harder all the time. The problem with artificial intelligence is now that it's come out to the fore, there's just so much of it, right? So we get overwhelmed. I mean, AI is just everywhere. You open your phone, your emails, you go on your social media, you're just seeing AI, and everybody's trying to sell you some sort of an app that's AI backed, and it's going to help you do things. It's going to help you stage homes, or it's going to help you with this, or it's going to, etc. So eventually we get overwhelmed, and everybody wants to charge money, of course. You know, every app costs $10 or $20. And it all looks great, but I mean, we haven't got the money to just keep paying $10 and $20 all around. Eventually, it's $1,000, which is a lot of rands. So it becomes overwhelming for us, and we don't really know what to take and what to lose. So what do we generally do when something overwhelms us? Is we rather just avoid it, just shelf that idea. Let's just carry on. Okay, as we were. This is too much for me. That's what we generally do when it comes to technology, and especially now with artificial intelligence, because there's just so much of it. So my advice is that you must use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is simple, powerful. It's going to take you a long, long way. And as you're going to see today, it keeps advancing so fast that the functionality that is available in ChatGPT, if you used it a month ago, you thought you knew what it could do, but you don't. It just keeps going. So my advice is use ChatGPT, master ChatGPT. If there's some other AI then that catches your eye that you want to use, great. But you're going to see that using ChatGPT can go a long, long, long way. And what you're going to see today is how easy it is. So if you can use WhatsApp, then you can use ChatGPT. If you can WhatsApp a friend and have a conversation, so that's a back and forth, and it's sort of we can reason with each other and everything. That's like using ChatGPT. That's what you're going to realize today. You chat to it like a friend, and it'll chat back, and you can chat back, and then so it goes on and on. But you can use it as a personal assistant or a marketing expert, or whoever you need on the day. If you need a psychologist, a wonderful psychologist as well. Okay, so here's a quick, let's say, a description of ChatGPT that I like. It says, imagine your funniest and smartest friend who's always available, knows almost everything on the internet, can explain things in a way that actually makes sense, and then can magically turn all your rough ideas into polished content. Congratulations, you just met ChatGPT. Okay, it's as easy as that. I quickly want to touch on what is the difference between Google as we used to know it, where we would find all our information traditionally, and ChatGPT that we have today. Now, ChatGPT is not just another search engine. So Google, if you search it, it gives you links, right? It gives you a link to this site and this website and that. And you're going to go into each one and see whether it's really relevant to what you searched, etc. ChatGPT, on the other hand, almost does that work for you, goes and looks at the whole lot where you would look at one at a time, and gives you an educated, combined answer, sort of based exactly on what you are asking it for. So it'll give you creative ideas. It can reason with you back and forth. You're going to see today, and it can brainstorm with you. So there's just so much, and you're going to see how easy it is. All right. Just to start off, so you're going to go to start off with ChatGPT. If you haven't got a ChatGPT account yet, you can get a free account. You just go to chatgpt.com, as it's there on the screen. Very important. Don't go to anything different. There are a lot of rip-offs out there. that sort of have similar names, etc. You've got to make sure you're on chatgpt.com. And even while I'm on that, okay, there is a free and a paid version. So the free version, most of what you see today, you will be able to do on the free version. Just sometimes when it comes to very intensive things like creating images, it might sort of cap you after a while. And then it just caps you and says, okay, you've got it enough for now. You're going to have to sit back for 2 hours and then you can do some more. So it's just a bit of a capping thing. But most of the stuff at the end, there's 1 or 2 things that are only included in the paid version that I'm going to show you just for interest's sake. But in any case, once you start using ChatGPT and you realize how it really can help you and it can do the work of 5 personal assistants, etc., you might consider going on a paid version. And the first paid tier is basically $20 a month. So that's usually at this stage, I don't know, 360, 70, 80 Rand a month. It's definitely worth it, but first stick to the free. And once you see, yes, you're really using this a lot and it's worth so much to you and you can't sort of afford to be capped every now and then for 2 or 3 hours, then you can move to the paid version. Okay, I said the website is www.chatgpt.com. Now, there is also a mobile app, and you will want to get that. So whether you're on the Play Store or the Apple Store or whatever, go and search for the ChatGPT app. But on the apps especially, be very, very careful because there's lots and lots of ripoffs, okay? And they're going to try and make money out of you unnecessarily. So you've got to make sure with the mobile app, no matter which one you find the real ChatGPT app. And the way you'll know it's the real ChatGPT app is because it is created by OpenAI, as you'll see there, okay? OpenAI, they are the developers. So if it doesn't say that it's created by OpenAI, if it says it's created by ABC Technologies or somebody's software or whatever, that's not the real ChatGPT. Okay. Once you get to ChatGPT, this is on the website. This is what it would look like the first time you go there. So you can either log in if you've already got an account, or otherwise you just sign up with your email address and you create a password. Okay, so it's as easy as that. Then once you're inside, it basically looks like this. So here where I'll put the prompt arrow, that's where you would type whatever you're wanting ChatGPT to help you with. So we call it the prompt. You're sort of prompting it for information. And you're going to hear a lot about the prompt. People are going to always tell you about the prompt, and I'm going to even want to sell you a book of prompts for real estate. And I want you to realize today that's not necessary. Okay, then on your left-hand side here, you'll see I've put there your ChatGPT history. So the first time you go into ChatGPT, there will be nothing. And as you carry on and you do chats and new chats and new chats, your history will be there for you to reference later on. So whatever you've researched previously will be there. And you can also search by keyword, etc. Okay, a few tips to start off. Always verify facts. Obviously, if you're creating content and you've got content that ChatGPT helped you create on a certain topic or anything, just verify the facts. Rather choose topics that are familiar for you because it'll be easier for you to know that the facts are true, so that you can actually back your content because eventually it's you that's putting out the content. Okay. On that topic, ChatGPT has become very, very, very good since it started out. It's just getting better and better. So I found very little mistakes and very little false information in ChatGPT. But nevertheless, you must verify. Okay, you heard me say just now it's all about the prompt. That you're going to hear from a lot of people, especially when they're trying to sell you things. So they're going to say, oh, you know, we've got the perfect prompts for ChatGPT to create the perfect content of all sorts of things for you. And then they'll sell you their little book of prompts for $10 or $20 or whatever. Not necessary. Okay, it is all about the prompt. So the more sort of intense your prompt is and intentional your prompt is, the better ChatGPT will understand exactly what you're looking for. But in the start, we're going to keep it simple because we're going to get there anyway. You will get to what you're looking for anyway because you can go back and forth. And as you learn, you will start creating. Here we go. Initially, we're going to keep it simple because as Tony Robbins is famous for saying, he says, complexity is the enemy of execution. So if you think something is too difficult, then we don't execute it, we just leave it, right? As we also spoke about earlier, let's just shelf that. So complexity is the enemy of execution. We're going to keep it simple and we're going to practice, and we're going to then practice will make perfect. Okay, so later on, after a bit of practice, you're going to learn to be clearer and more specific from the start. with your prompts, and you'll provide better context, etc. But we're not going to worry about that now. That almost comes naturally later on. All right. I'm going to jump into a live chat quickly just to really show how simple it is. Let me just get out of this. There we go. Right, so here I am live on ChatGPT. If I click over there on the left, you're going to see there's my whole chat history, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. And I ask it on a daily basis, almost anything, business-wise, personal-wise, house-wise, something breaks, I ask it. Okay, so that's my personal. I'm going to hide that for the moment. Okay, so for now, we're going to I just want you to sort of see the back and forth of ChatGPT, realize it's almost like a person speaking to you. So let's just start off with something like, hi, ChatGPT, how are you today? I don't know what my spelling's like, but it usually understands me anyway. Here we go. Hey, Andre, I'm doing great, thanks. And how are you? How's the morning treating you so far? You see the conversation. So let's answer it like a person. I'm good. Good. Still trying to wake up. Good. Yeah. I'm good, thanks. Still trying to wake up. And ChatGPT says, haha, I know that feeling. That first cup of coffee sometimes needs a second cup of coffee before it starts working. Ease into it. Slow start, strong finish. You got this. Just look at that. Okay, let's ask it another question. I'm going to say, have you had coffee yet? Have you had coffee yet? You'll see my typing is very simple. ChatGPT says, if I could drink coffee, I'd probably be on my third by now, just for the vibe. But sadly, no caffeine for me. I run on silicon and enthusiasm. What about you? First cup down yet, or still stop staring at it, hoping it magically kicks in? So you're getting the idea. The whole idea of this is really just to show you just a bit of a fun chat, show you that it's a back and forth, back and forth. This is like speaking to a friend. Like I said, if you can WhatsApp, you can use ChatGPT. Okay, so let's go with something more, let's just say. Okay, I'm actually going to, I've written this out so I don't have to type too long. And then I'll read it to you. It's just another thing I would, let's just say after this, I want to change topic. And I go, first I need some advice for the weekend. If you look at what I've pasted there, maybe that's a bit small. I can maybe make it bigger, but that helps. So I'm saying, first I need some advice for the weekend. My cousin is visiting from Joburg and I need to show him a bit of Cape Town. Any ideas? And ChatGPT will go and research what's available in Cape Town to do. I haven't asked it for anything specific, so it's just going to give me ideas. So it says, if the weather's lekker, that's what's nice about ChatGPT. It gets to know you, so it knows I'm Afrikaans. So if the weather's lekker, you can do Blouberg Beach and coffee at Eden on the Bay, and then Kirstenbosch Gardens and Chapman's Peak Drive. If you want some classy vibes but relaxed, go for the Durbanville wine route. And so it carries on, just gives me things I could do. Then it even, you'll see it always usually ends with a, how can I help you further? If you tell me what kind of guy your cousin is, I can tailor it. Is he a wine lover or a hiker or this or that? So let's say adrenaline junkie. He's an adrenaline junkie. So let's see what ChatGPT can offer me. All right. Then no gentle wine sipping and picnic blankets for this guy. We're talking hold my coffee and watch this energy. Here are some adrenaline-fueled Cape Town ideas. And then it goes to give me some more ideas. Tandem paragliding and hikes and speedboat rides and kayaking with dolphins, abseiling on Table Mountain, etc. You're getting the ideas. It's really just a back and forth conversation that you can have about anything. Business-related, personal-related, anything. You can ask it for a recipe and telling it what you've got in your fridge. Basically anything. You're going to see that today. Okay. Sorry. How's about, I've typed out this as well. So I'm going to paste that. Let's start a new chat. So if I go to a new chat over here. Okay, now I'm ready to kick into business. Let's just say I'm an agent and it's the first time I don't even know what to do. It's almost like many of us are possibly today. So I say, okay, I'm a real estate agent and I want to improve my business and my visibility by creating regular content that I can share on my social media platforms and to my database. Can you help? Okay, so now I've typed that in. Again, I haven't been specific. I don't say I want content of this type or that type, but just that I'm a real estate agent. I want to increase my visibility. Sort of what could I do? And there goes ChatGPT. Absolutely. I love where your head is. Consistent, valuable content is one of the most powerful ways to build trust, authority, and visibility in your market. And in real estate, trust is everything. Anyway, and then it carries on to say, here's how we can tackle this together. This is just a suggestion, right, from ChatGPT. What we'll do is we'll build a content system that helps you educate homeowners and future sellers, showcase your local expertise, demonstrate your marketing and negotiation skills, stay visible without feeling that you're selling all the time. This is what's important. As I said, adding value to people's lives. And we'll create content once and distribute it across all platforms. Then it gives you a whole lot of possible things. We're not going to go into this. So homeowner tips. And then, of course, you could drill down and say, okay, let's go with homeowner tips for now. Let's create a whole lot of content about that. So these are sort of broad ideas it's giving you. Durbanville Insights, more about that. Educational seller content, such as pricing mistakes, offer process, footsteps, compliance, etc. So these are nice, good ideas that ChatGPT is starting to give you. So from here, you can even just start and immediately say, yes, I like that. Let's create content. Let's create 20 posts, 50 posts, whatever. Let's create a whole content calendar. Sorry. And at the end, it even asks you, sort of, would you like to go this route or that route or whatever? Okay, so we're not going to keep on harping on this for the moment. That's giving you an idea of the sort of back and forth chatting with ChatGPT. All right, so for now, I'm going back to my slideshow. There we go. Okay, so you can use ChatGPT to create an unlimited amount of content. As you saw there, those are just ideas. You can drill down and drill down and drill down. And then when someday you think of something completely new on your own, then you ask for that. But here's a few examples. So you could obviously create your agent biography. I'm going to talk about that a bit today, just to give a bit of a sort of an intro and a back and a forth again. Listing description is the same. I know many people use it for that, but I'm just going to show you again, starting simple, drilling down. You can create newsletters and articles for your email database, YouTube scripts, social media content, email newsletters. You can rewrite existing content, prospecting scripts, ads. Then these two, email and WhatsApp responses and client communication. I can never say enough about that. So for instance, when you're creating an email, you can just tell ChatGPT, we'll look at that a bit later as well. This is what I want to say to this guy or this client or the seller in response to something he sent to me or whatever. This is what I want to say. Can you help me draft a professional email? And then in seconds, rather than you sitting there trying to be all fancy. I know some of you are probably very good copywriters. I'm not. So I would sit there for hours and that doesn't sound right. ChatGPT can really help you. And that type of communication with clients, that is lead nurturing. Every time you communicate back and forth with a client is something he's going to remember for later on. Okay. And then later we're going to be looking at analyzing documents and images. This is getting much more advanced and it's amazing what you can do. Creating images, we're going to look at much more than that. Analyzing images, we're going to even look at much more than that. Okay, sharing your camera with ChatGPT, etc. All right. I'm going to do a quick example of agent biography, simply because this is a very, very important part of our business. And it's one of our most neglected things in real estate is our agent biography. When you think about it, I'm just on the wrong place here. Usually when you started a new company, or if you transfer, you're a new agent and you started a company, or you move to a new company, obviously one of the first things they say, okay, we need to get you up and running. I need a quick description and a short biography of you. And there you go. You know, you write the thing, oh, I'm very trustworthy, I love people, and I'm passionate about property, and I'm passionate about the area I live in, etc. Lovely. And off it goes, right? Because things need to get rolling now. We want to get live and we want to get on the portals and get rolling. So that's usually what we do. And it's all rushed and quick. And then that actually looks like every other agent because they did exactly the same thing. They're all trustworthy and passionate about property and they love the areas they live in. And maybe they'll say they've got a few kids as well. Okay, so it looks the same as everybody. And yet, in today's age, that sticks. It's all over the place. It's on your company website. You probably put the same thing maybe on your Facebook profile as a bio, etc. It goes all over, Property 24, other portals. And it was the original one that you just hastily sort of got done. So what happens in the future is when people are getting 4 or 5 agents to do maybe evaluations for them, and then afterwards they're actually happy with all of them, and then maybe they think, well, they liked you and another 2. And then they stalk you. They're going to go and stalk you online, see what you're about. They're going to be looking at your Facebook. That's why content creation is so important, that they can actually see you've got a history of things happening and you're helpful and everything. But apart from that, they're going to stalk you, they're going to find you online, and they're going to see what you're about. So if you just got a really short bio, just like the other one, somebody else is going to probably get the business. So agent biography is very, very important, and ChatGPT can help you in many ways to create the perfect agent biography. So I'm going to do a very, very quick example. Now here you'll see I've kept it very simple. This is again to show you how we start simple. Might not be the perfect prompt, but we'll get there eventually. So here I say, in my stupidness, if I can call it that, please help me to create a professional and engaging biography that I can use to promote myself on online platforms and social media. Okay, very vague. ChatGPT does know I'm an agent, so at least it knows it's creating one for an agent. So it's going to create whatever it can for me, but there's no personal information there. But it will create a good biography that could sort of suit any real estate agent, which is already going to be better than what I would have done. So there it is. I'm passionate about connecting people with their perfect homes. I'm a dedicated real estate professional committed to delivering exceptional service with a strong focus on honesty and transparency. And whether you're purchasing your first home or expanding or selling a treasured property, I offer expert advice. So that's nice. It's something I would have said myself, but I probably wouldn't have worded it as nicely as this, as well as this. And yet, so this is already much better than I would have done myself. Okay, but it's very generic, right? Nothing personal popping out there. So now I say, oh, okay, now I realize that's not quite personal enough. So in follow-up, I say, okay, great. So could we make that a bit more personal for me specifically and incorporate the following? So I realize there's nothing personal. So I give it a bit of personal information, nothing fancy. I haven't written it in any nice copyright or anything, just facts. My name is Andre Forster. I've been a real estate agent in Durbanville in the northern suburbs since 2005. I'm married to my lovely wife, Lydia, and we have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. I love living in Durbanville. I have a degree in accounting. I specialize in residential property. I believe in honesty and integrity. I have extensive digital marketing background, and please keep it under 500 words. The please keep it under 500 words is just, you can ask it any format. I can say put it in bullet points, make it longer, make it shorter, put it in 100 words, whatever. So just to prove a point, I said, okay, keep it under 500 words. Maybe somewhere online where I'm putting my thing, there's a limit of 500. Okay, so I've given it a bit of information. So now it'll take the original, which was just generic. It's going to take mine, but it's not going to put mine just like that, all factual. It's going to make it nice and attractive, okay, which I couldn't do. So there we go. Now look at this. So now you just look how it colors some things in. So my name is Andre Forster. I've proudly been a real estate agent in Durbanville, part of Cape Town's beautiful northern suburbs, since 2005. Over the years, I've had the privilege of helping countless families, etc. Then when I said I've got a wife and 2 and 4 children, it says, I'm married to my lovely wife, Lydia, and together we have 4 amazing children, 2 boys and 2 girls, who keep our lives full of energy and joy. It's just coloring it in. Now this is looking good. And then I said, I enjoy living in Durbanville. It makes it more attractive. Durbanville has been more than just a home for us. It's where we've built our family, our friendships, and our careers. I truly love living here and believe it's one of the most special places in the Western Cape to call home. Now that's going to resonate with my target market, my sellers, right? Then I said I've got a degree in accounting. That's all I said. Now look how ChatGPT cleverly sort of intertwines it to make it property related. So ChatGPT says, I hold a degree in accounting, which provides a solid financial background when advising clients on one of the most important investments they'll ever make. Then I said I've got digital marketing. In addition to my real estate experience, I also have extensive background in digital marketing, allowing me to market properties strategically, maximize exposure, and reach the right buyer. So now you're starting to see how it can help you. So it's taken us a while. If I asked right from the beginning, I want a biography, my name's Andre Forster, I've got kids, I'm this and this. If I'd asked it all at once, I would have got this answer from the start. But you're seeing that we don't need to be all tech savvy. We can start and then see that's not quite what I wanted and start carrying on from there. Okay, I'm not going to go further on that one, but now just for fun again, just to show you the back and forth and how you can change things. Now I say, okay, just for fun, can you make my biography more humorous? And then also, again, just to prove a point, now less than 250 words. Now let's see what ChatGPT does. It does this in 2 seconds. So yes, okay, let's make it more funny. And it goes, now look at this. I'm married to Lydia, the brains and beauty of this operation. And we have 4 kids. Yes, 4. So believe me, I know how to negotiate and mediate and survive chaos without losing my cool or my car keys. Okay, and then it says, I've been in real estate in Durbanville since 2005, back when interest rates were wild and TikTok was just the sound that a clock made. I've got a degree in accounting, which means I understand words like amortization, but mostly I use my powers to explain transfer costs without making clients cry. And so it carries on. I have a background in digital marketing because I like sold signs. I don't just list homes, I launch them like Beyonce drops an album. I believe in absolute honesty, even when the avocado towels aren't vintage chic and that bright purple feature wall is more crime scene than creative. And so it carries on. So again, I'm just proving a point. This is a bit of fun, tongue-in-cheek, but maybe I would use that if I feel that's going to make me stand out in my specific market, target market. Okay, so you can ask it to do anything. I can tell it to write it simpler, to write it for a 5-year-old child so that they'll understand it. You can do anything. Put it in bullet points, table. ChatGPT will do everything for you. And this is all just still the text-based stuff, right? Here's another option. If you really don't know even where to start with a biography or with anything, any content you're going to create, which you'll see today, you can ask ChatGPT to ask you questions so that you can answer the questions so that he can answer your questions better. Okay, that was a bit macabre, but here it is. I'm a real estate agent in South Africa and I want to create a biography to use on online platforms and social media. Please ask me any questions you need answered so that you can create a professional and engaging biography for me. This is always a good way to do things because now ChatGPT is very clever. You said you're a real estate agent in South Africa and you want a biography. So it's going to go out there. It's going to go and find the top agents and see what looks like the best types of biographies. It's going to create a big picture of what the best biography would look like. From that, it's going to decide what questions it needs answered. In other words, what information it will need from you to be able to color it all in and make the perfect biography. So that's what's going to happen. It's now going to ask you questions. You will answer them, and it'll create the perfect biography. So that's another way of doing it. So here it goes. Okay, fine. Starts telling you, right, if you answer these questions, we're going to do an attention-grabbing biography. First, it obviously starts with basics. What's your full name? Where you're based? How long have you been in real estate? What types of properties do you specialize in, such as residential or developments, farms, whatever? Do you work independently or as part of a company, such as EXP or Pam Golding or SEEF or whatever? Asking you all the questions it needs. So these are just the basic questions. Do you have any educational background, such as degrees? And so it carries on. Then it goes more to the personal touch, something you want to mention, the personal, such as married or kids or hobbies. And so it carries on and it covers a broad range of things and questions, and then even asks you how long you need the biography to be in this specific case, and so on and so forth. You answer those questions, it creates the biography. Even then, if you're not happy, you can ask it to adjust things. So that's this you're going to see you can use in many, many instances. Okay, where you can ask ChatGPT to ask you questions so that it can get the right information to do something for you. Okay. Let's have a quick look at listing descriptions. Again, basic, and there's many ways of doing this. And I know some of you write beautiful listing descriptions on your own. And please, once you've done listing descriptions through ChatGPT, just sort of mix it up a bit, personalize it a bit. Don't let it look generic like everybody else's. But if you follow the right procedure, it should be very specific to your property anyway. Okay. Again, just to prove a point, how you're going to have to go back and forth if you don't give it the right information up front. I say, please write a listing description for my 4-bedroom home in Valmarie Park in Durbanville. I know I'm very stupid, because how could I ever expect anybody to write, even a personal assistant? I mean, imagine this is now my marketing manager or somebody that I'm speaking to in this case. They would think I'm totally crazy, right? But anyway, ChatGPT will actually go and do its best, and you'll see it's actually very clever. So all it's got is 4 bedrooms, right? So it will definitely make sure that appears in the listing description. And it's got Valmarie Park. So what is it going to do actually? It's going to go and find listings in Valmarie Park and create a generic one for me. It's going to just do its best. So you'll see that it won't create a listing description about a small apartment or a small townhouse, because Valmarie Park is a sort of upmarket area in Durbanville where you've got large houses, mainly on large earths, etc. Okay, so it'll create one. I'm not going to spend too much time here. It's going to create a beautiful listing description. Obviously not for my specific house because I didn't give it the information. And I could actually even copy and paste this if I didn't know better, and then go and just change things. At least I've got a sort of a skeleton to work with, and just go and change it for my house. But that would again be stupid. I'd rather give it the information. So there you can just say, okay, so I'll give it a bit more information, not too much in this case. So the bathrooms and the kitchen have been luxuriously renovated. The garages weren't right. I've actually got 3 garages. The garden is very spacious, 2,000 square meters, and there's a borehole. Okay, you could carry on and on and on. So now it'll take that one and it'll go and change those details and add it and tweak it a bit. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into that, but now it will tweak it. And if it's still not right, you can tell it whatever else you need to do. Or you can go the route of ask me the questions again. So when you're starting out with a listing, you could say, please ask me a series of questions to gather the necessary information about any specific listing so that you would be able to create a compelling but accurate listing description of approximately 400 words. You put in the words, whatever Property 24 allows or whatever. So now I'm asking ChatGPT, so it will go out and decide based on everything that's available on the internet what the best listing description would look like, and then what information it needs to be able to color all that in and make a good listing description. So it'll ask you the basic property information, obviously, property type, address, etc., layouts and features, outdoor features, what parking and security it has, special highlights, what's good about the location, where it's located, and the lifestyle that it offers, who's your target audience, because it will sort of tweak its manner of writing and the tone to that as well. And so it carries on. And so you give it that information and you will have a beautiful listing description. So that's another way. Otherwise, maybe use someone who goes and creates all sorts of facts when you're doing the evaluation. You've got it all in a Word document. You can throw that in and say, here's all my facts about this property, create the listing description. But so there's various ways of doing it, but it'll create a listing description that usually you could not. Just as I said, try and make sure it doesn't look too generic. So it's good to give it all the details that it needs. Okay, so you will see with ChatGPT, you can transform content for different purposes. No matter what ChatGPT gives you, you can transform it. Tell it to rewrite it in fewer words or more words. Tell it to convert it to a numbered list or a bullets list. It can transform it into a table format, translate it into different languages. Its translations, ChatGPT is better than anything. You go and take something and translate it into Afrikaans, then go to Google Translate and translate it into Afrikaans and see the difference. ChatGPT is much more everyday, much more real-time Afrikaans because it's learning every day from people. Okay, audience targeting. So you can simplify the content. Say, okay, I need to simplify this for first-time buyers, or I don't like the tone. It must be much more aimed at luxury clients. It must adapt for different age groups. You could say, take this, anything, whatever you've got, and write it for a 5-year-old child and see how that turns out. It's quite amazing. You can take the most technical piece of content and transform it so a 5-year-old child would understand it. And I often actually think we should do this for our clients. Just get it to write everything for a 5-year-old child, especially when it comes to footskirts and things like that. And rewrite it in a different tone. I mean, you've seen just now I said make it more humorous. These are my words. This isn't an instruction manual. ChatGPT doesn't have an instruction manual. These are just a few examples that I thought of. So rewrite it in a light-hearted tone or a humorous tone or a professional tone or luxurious, informative, etc. Okay, the main thing is, so anything you get, you can change. Anything you've got, that you've already got some content, feed it into ChatGPT and ask it to change it, make it better, change the format, change the number of words, anything. All right. Now let's take a quick look at social media posts. We've got so much to cover today, so I'm really just touching on things. So let's just take, for instance, so earlier we had the post, this is a different one, but we asked it, we said, I'm a real estate agent and I need content. And it gave us a whole lot of ideas, right? So we could actually take any of those ideas and drill down until it's something that we want to create now. But you can create a whole content calendar for a year if you want. But the point is, so let's just say from that answer that we got, we choose something. So let's take an example. So I say, okay, please write 20 Facebook posts aimed at homeowners thinking of selling, and also add an image idea to use with each post. Then Facebook will go. I haven't told it much. Just said it must at least be targeted to homeowners who might be thinking of selling, and then give us an image idea that we can use with each post, and it'll carry on. So first post will be thinking of selling. Here's where to start, and the wording is, if you're thinking about selling but you're not sure where to begin, you're not alone. The first step is understanding your home's current value. A proper property value estimate helps you make informed decisions. And so it carries on, eventually gives a call to action, and it gives me an image idea that I could use with a post like this. And so it carries on. Is it a good time to sell in Durbanville, with a whole post about that? Should you renovate before selling? So you don't have to use them all, but you can, right? So this is already giving you content that you could put out. Maybe this content you could put out once a week on a Monday morning or something on your social media channels. Okay. Now, again, just to prove a point, now I've got all these posts it's given me, but I think, okay, that's nice, but it would be nice if I had it somewhere that I could just save it on my computer, and every day I quickly go and take one and post one. So I say, can you put those 20 posts in a table with columns? First column for the heading, second column for the post content, third column for the call to action, and the fourth column for the image idea. So would it be able to do that? Yes, that's just transforming content into a different format, and immediately it gives it to me in table format. So there we go. You'll see the headings of each post, the post content, the call to action, and the image idea in a table. I'm still not happy because now it's still sitting on ChatGPT, where I would have to go and copy it every day from ChatGPT. I think, oh no, wait a bit. Can you create an Excel file that I can actually download for me? And lo and behold, ChatGPT can actually create Excel files. It immediately does that and says, yes, here's your downloadable Excel file with all 20 Facebook posts. You simply click on it, you download it, and there it is now in an Excel file that you can save to your computer. Again, just to prove a point, maybe I don't like Excel and I want it in a Word document. So I say, well, please put the table in a Microsoft Word document that I can download. Same thing, there we go. It's formatting it into a Word document, still in table format, and there you go. So now you could take all this daily, and you can go and copy and paste, or whenever you want for this specific topics, and go post it on social media. Find an image on one of the free image things, although you're gonna see later you're gonna use ChatGPT to actually create those images. Okay. So.
Sorry, Andre. Andre.
Yes.
Is it okay to ask a question, or should we hold them till the end?
I'm preferring to hold them to the end.
Okay.
Just because otherwise we get sidetracked, and sometimes we don't get through everything, but then it tends going.
No worries. No worries. Thank
okay.
you. That's fine. I just messaged in the group and then I wasn't getting a response, so I just wanted to check before we move past this.
No, I'm a bit all over the place with all the.
No, you're fine. Thank you so much. I'll hold it till the end. Sorry to interrupt you.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. Thanks, okay, so just another one. So I'm going to say, remember, we've now created a perfect listing description. So now I'm going to say, well, okay, I'm going to give you my listing description. I say to ChatGPT, please will you create 2 versions of a Facebook post and 2 versions of an Instagram post, and then an email that I can send to my buyer database, and 1 sold post, and then also guide me with image suggestions. Okay, so I mean, this is a very simple example, but still, so now you've got a new listing. Rather than wonder, you can get everything created right up front, and then you've got 1 post for this week, 1 post for next week, Instagram, everything, sold post ready for you for when you sell it, and then a quick email you can send to your buyer's database. It looks professional. Otherwise, what do we do? We go and type, hey, here's my latest listing, where you can make it look much more professional. Okay, and within minutes from my list, well, it's actually very clever. So I say, I will give you my listing description. So immediately says, okay, perfect, Andre, please go ahead and share the listing description. And then I will create the 2 Facebook posts and the Instagram posts, etc. And now you're going to see it says out of its own accord, I'll create 2 Facebook posts, each with a different angle, etc. Now look at this. So I give it the listing description, and there we go. It's going to give me two Facebook post options. I didn't ask it which types of options, so it's using its own discretion. So the Facebook post number 1 is feature focused. So it's taking that listing description, it's going to concentrate more on what the actual property offers, the features. Okay, and then Facebook post number 2, we're not going to go into the wording. It's created more of a lifestyle focus, and now it's going to concentrate more on where it's situated and what the area offers, etc. So you could even ask for more different types. Okay, and then Instagram, same thing, and then it'll do the hashtags. And ChatGPT is very clever because different social media platforms actually have different demographic users and different styles of writing. So we often, obviously, we'll just post one thing everywhere, and nothing wrong with that. At least we're getting content out, so we'll post the same thing. But ChatGPT will create it perfectly for that platform and with the right sort of emojis and hashtags, etc., which is more apt for Instagram. But again, two different types of posts for Instagram. Then a beautiful buyer email saying we're excited to share an exceptional new listing, quick sort of summary of it. And then at the end, obviously, the link that they can click on and so on and so forth. Okay. So that was just a quick sort of listing description type thing and a bit of social media. So we can't harp on anything for too long because we're going through a lot of things. So as I've mentioned, we just need to get back over here. As I mentioned, content unlimited. Okay. If you don't know what content to create, ask ChatGPT like we did in the beginning. So I need content. I need content. Okay. And it'll help you. But if you've got something specific in mind, you can ask for any of these things or more. These are, again, just my ideas. All right. So you can get content ideas that never end. I mean, like you could say, give me 50 topics for content that homeowners will find valuable. Give me 100. Okay. Give me 20 post ideas that showcase my town as an ideal place to live. 10 reasons why sellers must use a real estate agent. You could actually make that 100 reasons why sellers must use a real estate agent. Problem-solving content. Help me write an article about the most common mistakes sellers make. So these are just ideas, but ChatGPT will give you these ideas. All right. We're going to move on a bit to show you more sort of how you can really supercharge your usage of ChatGPT with more advanced functionality. So here you're going to see how ChatGPT these days can analyze images. You give it an image, it'll analyze it. You give it a document, a PDF, an Excel file, anything. You can ask it questions on that 100-page document, and it'll read it, it'll search, it'll find the stuff, and it'll put it in a format that you want it, whatever format you want it. Simplify complex laws, help you write professional emails. We spoke about that earlier, very important. And then create images. It's even going to create images. And then the last one, yeah, much more. That's at the end. You're going to be amazed. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. So let's start with how ChatGPT can read and analyze images and documents. This is actually, technology is going so fast that it just amazes me. It should amaze you as well, if you think about it. Yeah, we're talking about, I could take a photo and show it to you and say, what's on that photo? What is that over there? I don't know what that is or whatever. You can look at it as a human being and you can say, that's what it is. You can analyze that photo. You can say things about the photo. Now you're doing this to a computer and making it read a photo and telling you things about it. Okay, let's look at a few examples. So just when you're in ChatGPT, if you don't know, there where you would usually type what you want, you simply hit the plus button and then you upload whatever you want from your computer, or if you're on your phone, then from your phone. So you can upload photos, documents, PDFs, anything, as you're going to see now. All right. So let's say you're on a listing description. You're on a listing appointment. Firstly, it could be a valuation appointment maybe, and you're sort of taking notes of what the house offers, and later you want to at least report properly and impress the seller. So you want to name things correctly, and maybe you don't know what a thing is. Same thing when you going to list the property, and you're taking buyers through. First, you want to maybe correctly identify things in the listing description. But otherwise, buyers might ask you, what is this? Okay, so anything you can think of. So while you're at the house, if you're not sure about something, you simply take a photo. You can ask the seller what that is, what anything is, but usually you could possibly get the wrong answer, and it's what the seller thinks. And now you're going to tell the buyer what you think, and it doesn't go down right. Okay, so here's just one simple example. Take a photo of this. Maybe I would have described those as some sort of up and down sliding windows. Nevertheless, I put in a photo, uploaded it to ChatGPT, and simply say, what's the correct name for these windows? And it tells me they're called sash windows. These are specifically double hung sash windows, and it even gives me much more information and what they could be made of. And then in the end, it even says the ones in your image appear to be modern aluminium, etc., etc., etc. So that's quite amazing, right? Here's another example, a very personal example, because this ceiling, excuse me, is in our own house. And I myself didn't actually know what to call this ceiling, but I mean, if I were selling a house, I would want to know, because somebody's going to ask me, what type of a ceiling is this? So I simply asked ChatGPT, what type of a ceiling is this? And it tells me it is known as a popcorn ceiling, also known as an acoustic ceiling or a cottage cheese ceiling. It tells me sort of what textures it has, sort of how it's made, the years was mostly used, and that house was originally built in the 1970s or 80s. So that's quite correct. So it's quite amazing. And what I did in the beginning when I was doing things like this is I would now get this answer, and then I think, gee, can I go and tell a buyer this is a popcorn ceiling? I mean, is it really? How can I trust ChatGPT? So what I would then do at the beginning, I would actually take popcorn ceiling and go and Google it, and Google the images, and then I see, oh yes, that's what comes up. But I couldn't have asked Google what type of ceiling it is because Google can't read images. Okay, but I did double check. At least I was happy it was definitely a popcorn ceiling. Since then, I've learned ChatGPT is actually always right. Okay, let's say you're a younger agent or even an older agent. I luckily know what type of floor this is. That just gives my age away, I suppose, and how long I've been an agent. But maybe you're a young agent and all you know is vinyl floors and tiled floors and laminated floors. So you take a photo of this and you ask ChatGPT what type of floor is this, and it tells you it's a parquet wooden floor, consists of wooden tiles. Even tells you that you get different types of patterns. That's something I didn't necessarily know, such as a herringbone or a block design, etc. Tells you when they were popular and so on and so forth. Okay, so there you go. These are just a few examples. Look at this example. I mean, an image, a photo of a tree. So this is a true story. Myself and Lydia were asked to do a valuation of a farm outside Durbanville. We'd never been to the farm before. We'd also never spoken to the owner before. We didn't know the owner prior to him phoning us and asking us to do a valuation. So as we're driving into this farm, there's a long farm road and there's all these orchards next to the road. So I'm driving and Lydia, as usual, very busy agent, she's on her phone. And I look at these trees and I say, yo, Lydia, I wonder what trees these are, all these orchards. So she glances, gives one glance up from her phone, and she looks left and she looks right. She says they're guava trees. I mean, that was okay. If it was true, it would be very good because there's no guavas on those trees. Nevertheless, so what I did is, as I got out the car, quickly sneakily shot a photo without Lydia seeing, and I didn't have much time, so all I said to ChatGPT was, "What is this?" And then there it came back. The trees in the image appear to be guava trees. Okay. Anyway, they even gave me the scientific name. So I told Lydia much later, I said, you didn't give me the scientific name. And of course, what does she tell me? It's because you didn't ask. Anyway, yeah, so I quickly, as the farmer approached, I went and greeted him and I said, oh, lovely guava orchards you had here. So I've got a little bit of a plus point for the change. Anyway, a little bit of a personal story, but it just shows you how powerful ChatGPT is in identifying. And we've used this many times. In your own garden, just test it. Just give it a test. How's about this? Again, we're talking about, analyzing images. Imagine you somewhere and you're taking notes. This is a very simple example that I just did as an example. Let's say you're sitting listing a home and you sort of finding out more about the people in their family, so that so that you can go and populate your CRM afterwards, so that you don't forget the details. And so you're writing down the daughter's name is Lisa, she's 10 years old. The birthday is 10th of January, the son is Peter, and so you go on, and they're both in Durbanville Primary School. So you're making notes, much more than this. And now when you get home, it would be nice, obviously, to have it in text, maybe in a Word document that you save with a property, or that obviously you can copy and paste in your CRM under the notes or something and put in the birthdays and so on and so forth. Now, in the old days, if I wanted to convert that to text, I'd either have to type it out, just sit there and type it out into Word, or I'd need very fancy software. If you had the full Adobe suite, for instance, which costs, I think, 1,500 Rand a month, then you could do this, but you need software like that with optical character recognition. Very fancy. Now with ChatGPT, you simply take a photo, upload it into ChatGPT, say, please read this image and convert it to type. Text is all I said, and there it went. So immediately converted it into text, which I can copy and paste immediately and put into a Word document. Or, of course, as you saw previously, I can say, put it in a Word document for me. Okay, it even got the little scribbly 7 up top there, 174 Smith Street. It even got the 7 correct. I mean, I would have forgiven ChatGPT if it didn't get the 7 correct, but it even got that correct. So can you just see the possibilities here? You could be at a 3-day seminar, taking notes, pages and pages. Afterwards, take photos, put them in ChatGPT, get them into a Word document. The possibilities here are endless. Now have a look at this. Give you an idea of where things are going. How's about uploading multiple images into ChatGPT? So let's just say here, I uploaded a whole lot of images of a house. You can decide what you want to do with that. And in this case, I simply just said, describe the rooms in these images. And then I can go from there. So, I mean, there's the front, there's the kitchen, there's the dining area, living area, braai room, all the bedrooms. Okay. So I say, simply, please describe the rooms in these images. So here I've taken a video as I'm scrolling down the answer. This is obviously quite a long answer. And it's amazing what ChatGPT actually does. So it'll start with the exterior, describing it perfectly, then the kitchen, with what types of tops it's got, what type of appliances, the dining and living area, the indoor braai area. It even tells you about the stacking doors that open out onto the garden at the back. And then every single room has a perfect description for that room. Some have air conditioners in, some not, tells you about the flooring and so on and so forth. So yeah, you've already got a sort of a perfect description of this property. Maybe not in the format that you want it, depending what you want. Maybe it's for evaluation, maybe it's for actual listing description, but you've got details here. And as you saw previously, I mean, it knows what a parquet wooden floor is. It knows what a popcorn ceiling is. So those things were visible in these rooms. It tells you exactly what's going on in that property. So this is where things are going. It just makes your life so much easier. Let's get to the next one. There we go. Okay, another example. I know I'm running fast, but I really want to give you guys just all the functionality, because now that you know how to use ChatGPT, I want you to know how much you can use it in how many different ways. So here I've uploaded a PDF document. Okay, this was a home inspection that we had done for a home, because the seller said he wants to know, he wants to declare everything. The seller actually asked. So the seller had a home inspection done, was a 66-page document. So now I'm thinking, oh, now I've got this. Obviously, you've got to declare everything to purchasers. So I thought, well, maybe I must just create a summary, and I can then send it to any purchaser, the summary, but obviously attach the full document that they can still look at. But for me to do that would take an ages. So all I did is I simply uploaded this to ChatGPT and I said, please summarize this 66-page home inspection report. Highlight all the defects that may be of importance to buyers. It does that very quickly. Tells you about all the major items, what's wrong with the roof, moisture, etc., exterior, interior. Starts listing them, but all nicely summarized. So now this is maybe 2 or 3 pages long. And so it carries on. And then it gives you a sort of even a shorter summary for buyers. Now, with that, I thought, okay, well, this is great. So maybe I can just compile a draft email so long. So any buyer, once you see the house, I say, I'm just sending you the email with a condition report. So I asked ChatGPT to please write a covering summary email that refers to the report so that I can send it to any interested buyers. Now it creates a beautiful email. Thank you for your interest in the property. Attached is the comprehensive home inspection report, which was completed by a certified inspector. And then it says, in summary, the home is generally in fair condition with several maintenance and repair items noted. And then it just shortly mentions them, like the roof has signs of water penetration and maintenance required, etc. Then at the end it says, these findings are typical for a home of its age and don't necessarily indicate major structural problems, and so it carries on. So this is a lovely email. Great, it's got a bit of a summary for my buyers, but it's also attaching the full report so they can go and have a look at it. But it's also accurate. There was you know how these home inspections are. These reports just scare you off because there's just so much in it, because the guys have to put everything in it. Otherwise, they're going to be liable later. But end of the day, when you do go and summarize it like this, now if I had to do it myself, it would take me ages. But end of the day, it's not that serious. And now this would be much better to send to buyers. They've still got the whole report and they can go look at the roof's whole report, etc. But this just helps a lot. And the professionalism of this email is just excellent. Okay, this is another great example. It's a real example. So Lydia had a client, was a family member, but was a client who wanted to buy a property in Plettenberg Bay. We are in Cape Town, but we often go on holiday in Plettenberg Bay, and we've got family there. Excuse me. So she lined up with one of our agents in Plettenberg Bay, and Marie asked her to line up a whole lot of houses. He was looking in a very specific established areas, Robberg and Lower Robberg, etc. He wants the established areas close to Robberg Beach and so on. So Anna-Marie lined up a whole lot of houses. Lydia actually went to Plet, and for 3 days they showed him everything that's on the market in those areas. At the end of the 3 days, He didn't really like any of the houses he saw because obviously some of them were old and you would have to do a lot of changes, etc. But there was one vacant earth. It's a very established area. There was one vacant earth still left that was for sale. So he decided he would actually like the vacant earth, but he would like to just know before he puts in an offer, be very sure what he's allowed to build and what he's allowed to do on that earth. So Lydia simply sends me a WhatsApp and says exactly that. So I went to the Bito municipality and found the zoning bylaws. This part took me the longest, which was not long. So Plettenberg Bay falls under the Bito municipality. Found the zoning bylaws, which is where you will find sort of what you're allowed to do building-wise on an earth. So I uploaded that document, hundreds of pages, and I said to ChatGPT, please read this document and summarize the building regulations specifically for single residential properties. Because of course, this document caters for all properties, whether it be agricultural or industrial or whatever, right? It caters for everything, but now this is for single residential. So I say, please go and read through everything and find everything about single residential and summarize that for me. And it went and did that beautifully. Said, right, here's everything I can find about single residential. Tells me what primary use is. Oops, went too fast. What additional uses are allowed, such as outbuildings, sometimes a second dwelling up to 60 square meters, and so on and so forth. Carries on, gives me the coverage and the building lines, the building maximum building height that you're allowed to build, the coverage, which is the percentage of the earth you're allowed to actually cover, and that even differs depending on the earth size. Gives me all that. Tells me how the windows and doors have to be placed and what's allowed and what's not allowed, and so on and so forth. So that's great for me. I like that. But now, again, I could now take this and I could send this in an email to Lydia's buyer. But now, again, I'm skeptical. I mean, can I just believe it because ChatGPT says it? So at that stage, I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to go and check it out. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to prove it to me. So I said, thank you. Can you also provide the page numbers in the document where this info was found? And within seconds, it says, of course, I can do that. So for single residential building relations, here are the pages. The primary and consent uses that I was speaking about, that's on page 40 and 41. The development parameters, like the coverage and the height restrictions, that's on page 61 and 62, and etc. This is on page 104. Now I can quickly go into the document, double check that. See, it's absolutely true. That is all the single residential stuff that is applicable to single residential. That's great. Okay, now I'm happy with the information it gave me and I can send it. But just to top it all off, I say, please draft an email to my purchaser with a summary provided and referencing the page numbers in the document. So now it does that. Again, it'll say, as discussed, please find attached the whole bylaw. So you always give the person the whole thing so that they can look through it if they want to. But then it says, to make it easier for you, I've summarized the key regulations below, along with the page numbers where you can find more details. And it specifies it all beautifully so the purchaser can go and reference it. And I mean, this is now so professional. So by the time your buyer gets back to his hotel room or wherever he's staying, he could have this in his email. How professional is that? This is, again, client communication and things like this, that this type of research plus the communication, the beautiful email that it creates for you, is the type of thing that sticks. This is lead nurturing, because in this case, they did buy this earth, so that's great. But many times, you know, you would do work like this and the buyer doesn't buy what you have, and he goes and buys something that another agent maybe has. You know the story. And then he lives there, and maybe 3 or 5 years later, he wants to sell. And just this bit of research and communication and the emails that you sent him could be the distinguishing thing. And of course, now that you've got him on your database, you're going to be nurturing through the years with good content as well. But this is the type of thing that's going to make you stand out, that no matter who he bought the next property from, when he sells, he's going to say, we got to contact Lydia again. They were so professional. Okay, so don't underestimate the power of good communication and all your emails, etc. Okay, analyzing screenshots, just another example of what you can do with ChatGPT. Let's say you're busy on your computer, you're busy with a program, whatever it might be, Word document, Excel, busy with formulas, maybe you use Photoshop or something like that. Whatever you use on your computer, you get stuck, you can simply take a screenshot, put it in ChatGPT, say, this is where I'm at, I don't know what to do, and it will help you. Okay, 99.9% of the times it's correct. here I've got a very simple example. So, okay, the EXP, we've all got Canva Pro accounts included. So we use it Canva a lot. So let's say in the beginning, I do know how to do this now, but let's say in the beginning when I started using Canva, so I created a nice sort of just sold template with the EXP logo. And then I thought, okay, now I would like to just put my photo in there. I let this photo to personalize it. So you drag the photo in, and of course, oh dear, it's a JPEG photo and it's got this white background, so that doesn't work. Now, rather than me go and look at some how-to videos and things like that to try and find out how to do it, first I've got to go and find the how-to videos. I simply take a screenshot. This is a screenshot. If you don't know how to take a screenshot on a computer, then take a photo and upload it. Okay, and then I asked ChatGPT, how do I remove, look at the bottom there, how do I remove the background from my profile picture? What's very important to note here is I didn't even say it was Canva. I could have, but I forgot to. I forgot to say, how do I remove the background in Canva? But ChatGPT looks at this and it knows it's Canva because the address is in the top, etc. Very sharp. Anyway, here's me everything I need to do. There's my instructions. Okay, you have to go here and here and here and here, and this is what you need to do. So within seconds, I had it done, resized, background gone, everything. So that's just an example, okay, of things you can do. This, I was creating a Google form, much like the Google form you used when you registered, and I wanted to share that Google form with other people so they could also see the registrations coming in. And when I got to this point, I thought, I wonder if I must call them. Like if I add somebody, must I tick them as a viewer or a commenter or an editor? I just took a screenshot and I just chucked it into ChatGPT without too much questions, and it said, okay, if you're going to choose him as a viewer, this is what he's going to be able to do. Or a commenter will be able to do this. Now I knew what I wanted to do, but I'll just choose him as a viewer. Just examples. Okay. Now, sticking on the Canva topic, since we had a screenshot of that. Canva is a very, very, very powerful design tool, extremely powerful. But now you can use ChatGPT combined with Canva to create just like that. All right, you can create, look, we know in Canva you can create endless amounts of content, but with ChatGPT it just speeds it up and makes it so much easier. So let's look at an example. So let's say you ask ChatGPT to create a series of social media posts about something. As we did earlier, what did we say? Social media, whatever it was. Social media posts, what was that about? Anyway, that would interest sellers. Then you ask ChatGPT, once you've got all that, exactly as we did earlier, please export all those posts into an Excel file. Now you take that Excel file and you import it into Canva, because Canva has a bulk creation tool. So you import that and you simply sort of linking the Excel files columns to images, and within minutes, you can create 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 images within Canva. Okay, so this is basically how it works. So you ask it to create a series of social media posts about something. In this case, here's already the Excel file. I asked it to create a series of social media posts about the selling process. And it did that beautifully, all nicely in sequence. Starts by saying selling doesn't have to be stressful. Number 2 is you must first know the market before you list. Number 3 is very important, choose the right agent. 4, get your home ready for buyers, then price it correctly, then you must do good marketing and sponsored and targeted ads, etc., right down to the bottom, to the transfer process and eventually planning your move, etc. So it gave me a beautiful whole list of posts that I can use with the descriptions as well. I put that into Excel file as I explained. Now I pull this into Canva, into the bulk create tool, and I end up with this. Right, very, very quick. So now from that over there, selling doesn't have to be stressful, and then selling your home can be exciteful, not stressful is the thing. There it goes. Selling doesn't have to be stressful, and there's the other description. So now it pulls that into 20, 30, 40, however many posts you had created, and very quickly. So now you've got content that you could drip out maybe every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, or 2 times a week or whatever. Just extra filler content, just extra stuff that keeps you top of mind. Share it on your stories, your WhatsApp status, your social media profiles. Okay, in this case, it was easy. I just chose one image to put at the background because it's like a series for me. So it's got a theme. So I didn't think I would need different images. Now look at this one. Here I asked, please just create a whole series of posts about real estate quotes. So then it gave me quotes, whether I like them or not. I don't have to use them all. First quote is location, 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 and a good agent. The description of where you live matters, and who helps you get there matters even more. Anyway, And then in this case, I asked it for an image suggestion for every single post. So it made me a whole lot of post ideas, and then with the image suggestion. So now I pulled that again into Canva. And now here's the difference. I pulled it into Canva, so I'm going to get the 20 posts, however many this was. Excuse me. And then it gives me the aerial, the image suggestion. So I could now go and try and find images like this, because you can find images for free on pixel.com and pixels.com and all sorts of places. So I could go and search, but that takes a while. But ChatGPT these days, as I'm going to show you just now, can also create images for you. So I've got it to create all the posts, and then after that, I asked it to, okay, well, why don't you just create these images for me? So this is what I ended up with. So if you look at, let's just look at the first one, sold isn't just the sign, and the second one, owning a home. And if you look at the image suggestions, first one is, where's sold is just the sign? Oh, it's at the bottom here. So it says you can either use a sold sign or hands holding champagne glasses in celebration. So if you go there, there we go. Champagne glasses holding in celebration. Here you'll see this one, owning a home. He's got a sort of set of keys on, sort of lying on a pile of papers or something. So if you look at that one, owning a home, sorry, there was also the second last one, a close-up of house keys on a contract. There you go. So this is what I did then. I took those image suggestions. Once I got everything, and I went back to ChatGPT and I said, right, now create this image for me. And then next, create this image for me. And then I had the images and everything. So all this takes minimal amount of time. You have beautiful content, both created in Canva. Okay. One of ChatGPT's newest features, this is probably less than 2 weeks old, is similar. It can create images for you, but it can create them inside your Canva. So ChatGPT, that's a topic for another time. You can have connectors in ChatGPT. So you can connect it to certain apps that you have access to. Not everything yet, but a lot, like Outlook and Google and Google Drive and your Gmail and stuff. You can connect it to that if you want. So you can also connect it to your Canva account. If you do so, those are called connectors. If you do so, you would just always start your, whatever you want to ask, you would start with at Canva. Then immediately it actually pops up a little Canva image and you click on it. So here I'm asking it. So I've connected it. I've given it my login details for Canva. So here now I say create an image for lead generation aimed at attracting potential sellers to contact me if they are thinking of selling, or if they would just like a value estimate. Also add our details and that we've been trusted property experts since 2005. So I'm giving it an idea. I haven't told it I want an image that looks like this. I'm just searching for ideas. You know, I'm looking for lead generation aimed at attracting potential sellers. So it goes and it does this, gives me a couple of options. I can go and say, okay, I like option 1, but I don't like the color or whatever. But nevertheless, so it's giving me a couple of options based on my sort of vague request. Thinking of selling, thinking of selling, thinking of selling your home, but just different designs. Now, if I like one of those, this is the trick. Now I can click on that. So this hasn't previously, if ChatGPT had created an image on its own for me, it would be an image. So the writing, I can't do anything about the writing. I can't change anything. That's the image it gave me. Now you click on that image and it takes you into Canva. So there we go. Now I decide, let's say I like the second one. When I click on that, it takes me into my Canva. Into my Canva profile, you'll see the AV at the top there. And now all of this is editable. So I can edit that text. I can change the wording. I can change the photos. This is next level for productivity. Okay, so this is where we're at now. Okay, not just creating images, actually creating images that you can edit within your Canva. So quite amazing. Right, another example of using ChatGPT with other things, your CRM. So okay, we at EXP, we all have access to the full PropCon suite, and they actually take care of our listings and everything these days. But we also get a digital business card that you can set up on PropCon. So that's a link you can send to customers, whether they're looking to buy or sell or whatever, tells them about you and so on and so forth. So there's quite a lot you can do in that digital business card. And yeah, you're actually just going to see a couple of them coming together of things you've already done. So it's going to be a video I'm going to just play of what our digital business card looks like sort of as you scroll down. It's a very basic one, but you'll see that this is now almost coming together, things we've done. We've created a bio, we've created listing descriptions, so they're sitting there now, listings. We've created content. So within our digital business card, you can add articles, like a blog. So I can create content for those. Okay, so I'm going to play this little video. It's just scrolling down on our digital business card. So you'll see it starts off very nicely. Has all our social media links, etc. And you can customize it. But now, okay, so our biography, nicely created with ChatGPT. All those images that you see in between were all created by ChatGPT. And so it carries on. There's links to all sorts of other pages, which we're not going to go into now. Here's your listings. Obviously, you've created perfect listing descriptions, testimonials at the bottom, and here you'll see articles. So I do a lot of videos, but anyway, so the content, you can create good content, create articles, put them on your blog. Now, those blogs you can go and advertise on your social media. You can send out newsletters, etc. Just sort of showing you how things come together. ChatGPT coupled with things can really get you out there. Okay. Next. Now we talked about creating images, so I'm just going to show you another one or two examples of creating images within ChatGPT. The more detailed you are with your description, the better the image is going to be, obviously. So here I've put in quite a bit of detail, but I can be a lot more detailed. But just look at this. So I say, please create a realistic photo image of a luxurious glass-fronted house with a lush garden and a modern pool, and with a Cape winelands in the background at sunrise. There's quite a lot of detail in there. Immediately, it takes a few seconds. ChatGPT creates that image for me. And you will see, I mean, it's a grass-fronted house, luxurious, lush garden, modern pool, Cape winelands in the back, even put the Boland Mountains in the back. And then at sunrise, exactly as I asked. So you see how this is, you can start creating anything. Just another example, I've used these for quite a while already, just for the fun of it. At EXP, we always say we're the future of real estate, so who knows what we're going to be selling in the future. Just a bit of tongue-in-cheek there. Sorry. So here I say, create an image of a spaceship that has landed on the ocean with Cape Town in the background on a bright, partly cloudy day with a futuristic real estate agent standing on top of it. Quite a bit of detail, although I could put in a lot more. But there we go. There's the spaceship. It's landed on the ocean with Cape Town in the background. I mean, look at that. Table Mountain, beautiful. The Cape Town Stadium over there. It actually looks like that. And I say with a futuristic real estate agent standing on top of it. I think that's fairly clear. It's futuristic. And just to make sure it's a real estate agent, ChatGPT put in a for sale sign. And I said on a partly cloudy day. I didn't say a sunny day. I didn't say a cloudy day. Partly cloudy, and there you go. So just look at every detail you ask for is being incorporated into the image. Okay, let's look at some examples of manipulating images. So now you've got an image, but you want to change something in it. Again, you always used to need software, Photoshop, this, that, and the next thing. ChatGPT is doing all this, and it does it for you on the free plan, just limited every day. Okay, so let's take an example. Imagine you listing a house and you arranged photos for the Saturday because the seller said everything is going to be in perfect nick on the Saturday. So you arrive there on the Saturday, photographer has already paid the deposit and everybody's there, and there you go. This is what the pool looks like. Oh dear, says the seller, is so sorry, but he did put in 5 bags of chocolate this morning, so it will definitely be blue by the time you bring buyers on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so you take his word for it. But now, so you go to ChatGPT once you get the photos back and you say, please change the pool's water to sparkling blue. So if you don't have all sorts of fancy software, you just ask ChatGPT, and there we go. Sparkling blue it is. That's the original, that's that. Beautiful. Another example. Client has already dug a hole for a pool. Maybe doesn't even have to have had a hole for a pool. Maybe he just wants to put a pool in there. So you need some ideas. So it's really nice. You go home, you don't tell him where you get them, and you go and ask ChatGPT for some ideas that you could put in there. So I simply said, create a modern design for a pool for the hole that has been dug in the photo. And I always just say things like this: do not change anything on the existing building. So I don't want it to start redecorating the building because we're talking about the pool here. And so I just put 1 or 2 examples. You can ask it for many, right? So there was the original, and it goes and gives me some examples. There we go. You see the buildings have stayed the same, sort of just changed the space, different types of pools. Nice thing now, even if you do like one of these, you can say, okay, but what material is that? Well, you know, it'll do everything for you. It'll even price it for you. Okay, home staging. We all know this. Now you get staging software where you can stage your property, and they charge X amount per month, right? very recently, ChatGPT started doing that. In the beginning, it wasn't necessarily very accurate because it changed various things. All you want to do is you want to furnish this place. You don't want to change the structure because you're selling the structure as it is. So people, you don't want to have false advertising, but putting furniture in is not false advertising. It's just making it look as though someone's living there, and they could, in any case, move out. So I simply say, can you furnish this room without making any changes to the actual walls or floor or any other part of the structure? I always say that. And I've kept it very vague and just said modern lounge furniture. And there you go. And I could go back and forth, and I did, and I went back and forth and made sure the light fitting is the same, and you know the ceiling is still the same, so it hasn't changed that. The floor tiles, okay, I'm happy. It's done it. Beautiful staging, much more attractive for my ads than an empty place. All this with ChatGPT's free version. Another example, let's say a very bland backyard. I say, okay, can give me an idea of how to modernize this, and then give me 2 examples of the same thing, one at dusk or at nighttime, and then one what it would look like on a bright sunny day. And there you go. There's the bright sunny day. This is an idea that ChatGPT gave me, and the same idea as it would look at night. Of course, if I don't like it, I could just say, no, I want more like this or more like that, or whatever. You can chop and change. You're starting to see the power of this. You can help clients get ideas for redesigning their kitchen or their spaces or whatever. You just play around with it and you can be quite the hero. Okay, this was just a bit of fun. We had a roadshow, EXP roadshow up in Umhlanga. Andrew Thompson, he's our CEO, wonderful, wonderful man. So just for fun, because he was there and he lives in Umhlanga, and I was doing presentations for EXP at the Umhlanga, and I said, please turn Andrew into a superhero flying over Umhlanga rocks with the EXP Realty logo on his chest, because that would be very apt. So to do that, I gave ChatGPT a photo of Andrew and the EXP Realty logo, and that's what it came up with. Quite amazing. We had a good chuckle on the day when I showed this on the big screens. And there's even the Umhlanga lighthouse. This is really what Umhlanga looks like. So yeah, wonderful. Okay, just a bit of tongue in cheek. You can really do anything. Change your child into a superhero. Put that on their birthday party invitations, whatever. Okay. Now, voice interaction with ChatGPT. This is where it really starts getting interesting. Sorry. So there's various ways that you can actually speak to ChatGPT. This is just going to go down here quickly. Okay, sorry. There we go. And you can speak to ChatGPT. So firstly, you could do speech to text. So where I was typing previously, if I want to type long stuff, I could rather just speak it, and ChatGPT will convert it into text for me. So it's still text. It's as though I typed it, but it's just spoken, so it's much faster. And then we can carry on with the chats as you've been seeing them. The other option, you can actually have voice conversations with ChatGPT. So that's really having a conversation, verbal conversation, where ChatGPT speaks back to you in a voice that you choose. You can choose which type of voice. So that's a great, for instance, if you get into the car, when you start a voice conversation on ChatGPT, it just carries on and on and on. It's not like these text ones where you have to type again. You can just keep speaking. So you can chat to ChatGPT about whatever you want, and ChatGPT is going to chat back, and you can discuss dinner plans tonight while you're in the car, and ChatGPT will chat back and give you ideas. You can say, oh dear, I've got to do my child's homework, help him tonight with a task on this and this and this, and ChatGPT starts compiling information which you will later be able to see when you get home in text. And then you get to the seller's house and you say, oh dear, I've got to speak to the seller about whatever difficult topic, dropping his price or something. How can I do that and soften the blow? So you can carry on with the conversation. Okay, we're going to have a look at that. Then very, very smart these days. This is only on the paid version. Is while you're actually chatting to ChatGPT, you can activate your camera, and it's like having a person standing next to you looking at whatever you're looking at. Say, hey, look at this. What do you see? Yeah, what do you think we could do there? Or what's that? Or anything. Okay. And you can also screen share while talking on your phone. So if you're having a problem with something, just quickly pop it to ChatGPT, share your screen, say, listen, I'm in Instagram. I don't know what to do here or how to get that, and it'll help you. Okay, quite amazing. So when you're in ChatGPT, this is sort of a mobile version, you could almost say. I'm just want to demonstrate the different buttons. And in actual PC app, the buttons are the same. I'll demonstrate that as well just now. So here, let me just, okay, so here where I put the blue arrow, you'll see there's a little microphone that you will use when you want to convert your voice to text. So that's like typing, but you don't want to type because it takes too long. You just quickly speak it. ChatGPT will convert it to text. You just check if the text is okay, and you hit enter, and then it's the same as though you were typing, and ChatGPT types back. The other little button there with a green one that looks like a sound wave, when you hit that, it starts a conversation. Okay, we will be looking at that as well. So I think let's first do the voice to text. So let me just carry on here. Okay, I'm first going to go voice to text. I'm going to close the presentation and actually go to the live one. Just make sure everything's showing. Right, you can see my screen. I'm just going to start a new chat there. So as you can see here, let me go even a bit, zoom in a bit more. Let's take that away. That button over there, the little microphone, that is if I want to, I don't feel like typing or it's too long and I just want to say something. Okay, then I'm going to hit that button. I think I'll use an example here. So let's say, okay, I'm going to hit that button. Let's just see if ChatGPT is going to respond in text properly. Allow the microphone. Hi, ChatGPT. I need some help, please. I'm just checking whether it's converting. Okay, great. I'm going to carry on. So let's say you have a whatever. Let's double this up and do an example where you're actually going to see it converting to text, and you're actually going to get a reply that's going to help you in your business. Okay. So let's say I'm going to read this one out. I'll say to ChatGPT, so this is long, I don't want to type it, it's going to take me forever, so I say, okay, I sent my seller a low offer on his property. He was quite disgusted that I sent him such an insulting offer. Please help me to draft a polite but factual reply to my seller, explaining that I have a duty to take and present all offers to him. And also add that sometimes buyers will make cheeky offers just to try their luck, but then sometimes end up paying a fair price in the end. So we must just give this some thought and decide together how we are going to respond to the buyer. So I hit the little button over there and it's converting it into text. So this is as though I typed it, that would have taken me long to type, so I rather spoke it. And in this manner, you can also give ChatGPT much more detailed prompts because you can really tell it what it is you're looking for. Okay, so there we go. You can quickly check the text. I sent my seller a low offer on his property, blah, 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 blah. Please help me to draft the polite. Okay, great. So now we're sort of doubling up. So you saw the voice to text, but we'll just might as well look at the reply it's going to send to your seller. Because you know when your seller is upset with you because you gave him a low offer, but I mean, it's not you that's making an offer. Anyway, so let's see what it says to me. That's never a fun moment. Here's a suggested message you can send him. It's warm, respectful. Let's see how it would word it. So ChatGPT says, hi, seller's name. Thank you for your feedback. I completely understand that this offer feels disappointing and even a bit insulting. Many sellers feel this way when the first offers come in lower than expected. As your agent, I have a legal and professional duty to present all offers to you, regardless of the amount. My goal is always to act in your best interest, keep communication transparent, and make sure we don't miss any opportunities that could develop into something stronger. It's also quite common in property negotiations for buyers to test the waters with a cheeky offer first. In many cases, these same buyers do end up moving significantly once we engage with them correctly. So while this offer isn't where we want it to be, it can still be the start of a negotiation process rather than the final word. Let's give it some thought and discuss how you'd like to respond. We can explore a counteroffer that reflects the value of your home and guides the buyer back into a more realistic range. I'm here to work with you every step of the way and make sure we handle this in the best possible way. How do you like that for a response? So just once again, you know, any communication you've got going. So okay, I was actually just demonstrating the voice to text, but any communication you've got going, just look at that. I would have typed an email like this 10 times and then it would still probably have being a little bit nasty from our side because I feel insulted that the sellers thinks it's me that's giving me this offer. Anyway, so there you go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful example of how to reply to that. Okay, now let's go for a voice. Let's go back to, I think I've got an example on here. Let's go to the slideshow quickly. Here we go. That was the slide we had. So I've got an example on here. I hope you are going to hear it perfectly. If you don't, you must please just let me know. I believe you will. This is just a recorded one, and then I'm actually going to go live and do a live one with the camera. Okay, but for now, let's see if this, on the next slide, this recording works. Let's just get our volume up a bit. Okay, hopefully you can hear this. This is just a conversation. So when I hit the little wave button, it's me and ChatGPT speaking. And I always have this recording just in case our signal doesn't work for a live one.
Oh, come on, ChatGPT, be honest now. Is it really possible that Lydia is always right and I'm always wrong?
Oh, you know, I'm no relationship expert, but I'd say Lydia's right 99.9% of the time. And that 0.1%, well, that's just when she's agreeing with you.
Yeah, sure, thanks for nothing.
Ha, happy to help. If you ever need a pick-me-up or a bit of fun, I'm just a chat away.
Yeah, thanks for nothing, ChatGPT. Hey. Lydia and ChatGPT are definitely in cahoots. I know that. She takes my phone at night. I usually fall asleep before her, and I'm sure she takes my phone at night and she has conversations and they sort of in cahoots behind my back. Anyway, what I want to do now is I want to do a live conversation, and I want to, while I'm on this conversation now, it's dependent on a lot of things. So it's going to activate my camera, so the signal is going to be good, everything's going to be perfect. But while I'm on the conversation, I'm just going to ask ChatGPT, let's say what she sees, and then I don't really know what to. Anyway, whatever. Sorry, so I've got to make sure everything works here, and I hope you're all going to hear me perfectly. I'm going to start the conversation. It takes a while for that little dot to go blue so that I know ChatGPT is ready for me, and then I'm going to start, and then after that, I'm going to activate my camera. So listen to this. Okay, here's my phone. You'll see I'm busy with my phone. Okay. Make sure all the sound and everything is fine. Okay. Hitting the button. Hello, ChatGPT, are you there?
I'm right here, ready whenever you are. Let's dive in.
Okay, I've just activated my camera. Can you tell me what you see?
Sure, so I can see that you've got a nice little corner set up there. There's a world map on the wall, a couple of framed pictures, and it looks like your laptop and an external monitor on your desk. So it's a pretty cozy little workspace you've got going on.
Ah, thank you. Tell me, I was just wondering, I'm not sure, what continent is that where it says Brazil?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the continent of South America. You can see Brazil is taking up a big portion of it. It's got that kind of pinkish color on your map, and it's definitely a nice big feature on that wall.
Okay, thank you. I've got another question for you. So I'm looking at my laptop here, and there's all these funny keys. They called F1 and F2 and F3 right up to F12. What are those F keys for?
Absolutely. So those F keys or function keys at the top of your keyboard actually have a bunch of different uses. They kind of act like shortcuts. For example, depending on what you're doing, they can help you adjust your volume, your screen brightness, or even do things like refresh a page. So they're just handy little shortcuts built into your laptop to make your life a bit easier.
Okay, I'm going to end it there. We'll just drop the button over here. So you see, I mean, that's like having a friend next to you. Can you imagine where this is going with a camera thing? I mean, where at the moment, only on the paid version, and it's limited to 5 minutes of video like that per day. But it's going to obviously increase as time goes by. Now, you can imagine now the future where you're just walking with your camera, activating ChatGPT, walking through a new listing. You just walk through and you just enjoy yourself and have a look at everything. And when you get back, she's going to tell you everything about the listing because she was looking at it. And she's going to tell you about the parquet wooden floor and the popcorn ceiling and, and all of that, right? So you can imagine, so you could walk through a place and you'll get perfect details of everything in the not too distant future. We're just going to keep up with this technology. Okay, what you see there at the moment on the slide, where you'll see cross-device continuity. What's now really, really nice is whether you're using your phone or whether you're using your PC, as long as you're logged in with the same account, so with the same email address and password, the two are going to sync. So you can be busy all day outside on your phone asking it things, and then yet, let's go into that quickly. Where am I now again? Sharing my screen, you can see that. I'm just going to go to a new chat. So now when I refresh my PC, for instance, because I've been busy on my phone, now I refresh my PC, and you go to the chats on the left, and you'll see here, there's the reply to the seller offer. That was the one which we did the voice to text. But even the one we did now, which was voice, it was a conversation, right? It was not written text. But it will convert to text later on. So when you click on it, there we go. You'll see. Here's my whole thing. Hello, ChatGPT. Are you there? I'm right here. Ready when you are. Okay, I've just activated my camera. Can you tell me what you see? Sure, I can see a nice corner with a laptop and an external monitor and etc. So you've even got all that eventually in text. Later on, just because it's in inverted commas, it just tells you it was a verbal conversation. So even if you're doing factual stuff or while you're on the road, doing some research for things or asking for content to be created or whatever, when you get back, you can still copy and paste it and use it. Okay, so that's also quite amazing. We almost near the end. I don't want to go too much into this. There's so much more complexities and functionalities within ChatGPT. You can create custom GPTs. I've got custom GPTs here. These are mine. Social media content creator for agents, video creation. So for anything I do a lot of, I will create a custom GPT. That is like creating your own little ChatGPT. And when you go in there, you give it instructions of exactly how it must respond to any queries. You can also upload information. So I've got, for instance, is a property guide. So that's something I send to my buyers and sellers. I have trained that GPT. I put in all the property laws and the PPRA Act and the Code of Conduct and all those things, sectional title laws. Plus, in my case, I've got a lot of videos, educational videos about footsplits and the OTP, etc. So I put all of those scripts. I just put into a Word document. I uploaded all that into that GPT. Now I can send that link to my clients. They go in there, they can ask questions. They're always going to be answered the way I want them to answer. And in this case, I can tell the GPT, I don't want you to go onto the open wide world wide web and just find any information, because this is going to be coming from me. And then if it can't find information, it says, let's quickly get hold of Andre and Lydia, etc. So it's like a lead generation. Same for our agents. I've got a thing there that has everything EXP-wise pumped in there. So if they have any questions about how commission splits work, how the revenue share works, etc., they can go and ask questions there. Everything is in there, and that's the only things they're going to access. So I've told them not to access the internet, but then it's going to also get all sorts of some of the American model pulled in, and that maybe not be applicable to the South African EXP agents, etc. Lots of things. I've got a prompt optimizer, a lot of things. Helping with my videos, it's just continuous things. And you can also have projects where you create things like a project, like when I'm preparing for a webinar like this, instead of having all my chats getting lost in between other chats at the bottom, like usual. Am I actually still on my screen? Yes. Like usual, I can then put them into a project so that all those chats are grouped together. So there's just so many things that ChatGPT is bringing out all the time. AI agents. You want to know about AI agents? You can create an agent within ChatGPT that does things for you. So as I said previously, you get connectors. So you can have ChatGPT connect to various things. So you could create an AI agent, let's just say, that goes on the first week of every month. You instruct it, first week of every month, you must go to this, and this website, on all the property-related things that happened in the last month. Create a report for me of this length, put it into a nicely formatted email, then go to my go to my Google Drive, open this Word document, put it all in there, create a PDF from that, then go to my Outlook, which you're giving it connectivity to, and attach that and put a nice email to it and send it to this group of people. That's how automated we're getting at the moment with ChatGPT. You just need to start really using it. Right. So we're almost done. Just one or two little fun things I'm going to end off with here. So let's just get there, get back to the slideshow. Okay, so we've spoken about customizing ChatGPT and exploring my. I mean, look at this. In EXP, we have EXP World. I have my own office, which I set up in EXP World. There's a chatbot. Now I send people the link. They go there, they look at my videos, and they can ask this chatbot, Lydia's chatbot, questions. It's the same as a custom GPT. It's because I've fed it all the necessary information and I've told it how to react when people ask questions. So our clients have lots of fun. They go in here and they just, when they look at our videos and they go and read our documents and our OTPs, anyway, and they speak to the chatbot. This is all coming from normal ChatGPT type of stuff. So you've got to really, we must just keep up to date. So when you start using ChatGPT and keep using it, you'll keep seeing as it advances, and you will be learning how to speak to AI, which is very important. Because everything from here on in is going to be AI, and your success is going to be based on your understanding of AI and how you can speak to it. Okay, so I'm almost getting a bit lost here. I'm so excited. But yeah, chatbots for the future, etc. Okay, at EXP, we're implementing it a lot. What I want to do now, I want to show you something I did. So just for fun, just something else, I asked ChatGPT to create a song for me, a nice upbeat song. I just said, please create a nice upbeat song, maybe something that Abba would have sung about real estate agents and a bit of tongue-in-cheek humor about the many roles we are expected to play and so on and so forth. So it then created all the lyrics for me. I'm not going to show them to you now because we're going to have them sung. Created a beautiful song with all rhyming words and lyrics. I then took that. This is something you can write down. There's a website called suno.com. That's suno.com, suno.com. Now, if you've got lyrics, you go to Suno, you put in the lyrics, and you ask it to sing it to you, and it'll give you a few options. So then it sings it to you. So this is what I want to do right now. I'm going to stop sharing this. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to share that song for you, which I dedicate to all real estate agents. Just need to quickly find it. There, agent song. You can see that, and you must just tell me that you can hear it when I start playing, please. So I dedicate this to all of you. Have a look at the words, just a bit of tongue-in-cheek about what's expected of us as agents.
We're part-time shrinks and marriage guides. We juggle dreams and moving tides. We fix the lights, fluff all the beds, then talk some sense in buyers' heads. We stage with style, we scrub and sweep, and give advice for free, not cheap. We're tour guides, planners, child entertainers. We deal with cats, alarms, and angry neighbors. We calm the nerves, we pour the tea, and act like therapists professionally. We know the laws, the cracks, the zones, and still reply when you text our phones. We chase approvals, figure docs, explain what stoots and climbing costs, negotiate like pros with flair while sellers change the price mid-air. We dodge delays and pray each day, may the buyer's bond come through. We say we know the laws, the cracks, the songs, and still reply when you text our phones. We chase approvals, figure docs, explain what stoots and climbing costs, negotiate like pros with flair while sellers change the price mid-air. We dodge delays and pray each day, may the buyer's bond come through. We say, oh, we do it all, and still look around, smile on our face, contract in hand. From morning show to late night call, we're agents, baby, we do it all. And just remember, with all that flair, We only get paid if you get there.
So there you go, dedicated to all you kind agents and myself. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm just going to get back to this. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for attending. And if you've got any questions now, you are absolutely welcome to ask. And if I can help, we will help.
Couple of questions in the chat box.